What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Time Team podcast. And today I have Garrett Martin. Super excited to interview him. I actually met him probably, 2-3 months ago?
4th of July weekend.
4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, right? Saturday.
Yeah, so met him 4th of July weekend at the beach. He pulls up with just a tricked out Sprinter van, and not only did he pull up with just one Sprinter van, he pulled up with two. Straight flex. I'm like, dude, these things are rad. And so went over there, geeked out on them, and just ever since then been like all about the Sprinter life. I even bought a Sprinter. I told you I was going to buy one, and I did. Like, literally saw it. I'm like, I need that. And so super excited because today we're going to be talking about him, his business, and getting to know him a little bit more.
Yeah,
so
sweet.
Welcome, man.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming, man. So tell us a little bit about, your upbringing and where you grew up. And
yeah, for sure. So I grew up in the Northwest, up in Washington State.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in the Bay Area, and then we moved when I was young, 2 years old. Actually went out in St. Helens Blue. We were driving to Seattle. But yeah, moved up there and grew up in Western Washington.
So you grew up in Seattle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Seattle area.
Okay, cool.
So area called Mukilteo, which is on the Puget Sound up there.
Okay.
And then also Woodinville.
Okay.
So which is kind of like a wine country-ish.
Oh, wow. So you grew up doing a lot of hiking, fishing?
Yeah, a lot of outdoors.
Okay.
So,
snowboarding up there?
Snowboarding, fishing, camping, off-roading.
Wow.
All that. I mean, from, I think my first camping trip was when I was 3 months old.
No way.
So I got a picture of it. My mom and my dad, they're split, but I was just in a little car chair sitting there, and you got a big old bottle of Carlo Rossi and a tall MGD, a big bottle, just sitting on the table next to me. So that was when it started.
Dude, that's right. I love Washington. I have grandparents that live in Bremerton.
Oh yeah, cool.
So we go up there. Summers are the most beautiful in Washington.
For sure.
That's
the only time to really go.
Yeah, dude, otherwise
it's gray. Yeah,
and cold.
Yeah, just gray and trickly. But yeah, it's a good spot to grow up, man. It was, at least it was back then. It's changed a lot, but it was, it was cool. You just ride bikes around and get home by dark, right?
Cool,
you play with sticks and stuff, and build jumps out of dirt and.
A good life,
hurt.
man.
Yeah,
every boy's dream.
Yeah,
that's so sick. So grew up in Washington, and tell me, when did you move down to Cali? Was that after?
Yeah, so we had family in the Bay Area all my life, and so we'd visit them. Yeah. And then at 19 years old, I did a year of junior college up in Washington State, played a little volleyball. Yeah. And then was just I want to go to Cali, and my buddy was going to school at Azusa Pacific. Yeah. And he had a room available to rent, and so I'm like, all right. I don't know where Azusa was. Yeah. But it was, an interesting place. So I moved down there, and that just kind of got things rolling, and lived there for a year, and ended up getting down to San Diego, and immediately fell in love with Pacific Beach. It's 99. Okay. So went down there for a weekend to kick it with some friends, and my buddy was visiting from Seattle, and we both were just this place is awesome. So literally went back to Azusa, figured out a game plan, moved back to Washington State for 6 months, saved up money, and then my buddy and I moved to San Diego. No kidding. And that was just epic. And the rest is history. The rest is history, man. Dude, that's sick. So moved to PB then, right? Mission Beach. Mission Beach. Isthmus Court. It was, we were 2 courts up from the roller coaster. Wow. Basically 2 houses off the alley. And it was a 3-bedroom with 6 dudes.
Dude, that's a good life, man.
Buddied up.
No, but that's fun.
Dude, horseshoes and kegs on the beach all day. You know? Right? Yeah, just chill. It was a great life.
Oh yeah,
just cruising.
Yeah, my dad grew up in Ocean Beach, and it was rad. I remember when my stepdad, when we met him, we literally skate, ride bikes to everywhere.
Everything.
You
park
didn't
your car and leave it. It's you can forget where you put it. It's wait, where'd we leave it this week? Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it was killer. Did that and ended up getting. I got offered a position to go work for a cell phone company. Back in Seattle. Oh, no way. In 2004, and so I took that job, and that was killer. That was literally my business education, and kind of just guided the rest of my life, and that was super cool.
And then you moved back down to Cali.
That company sold. 3,200 people got laid off from that, and then. I basically took a summer off. I lived in a rad place up by Lake Sammamish, which is out of Bellevue area. Yeah. And just ripped a an amazing summer on the lake for, I don't know, I think I probably spent like over 90 days straight on the boat.
No way.
And so yeah, just wakeboarding, wake surfing, just kicking it. And because I had, we worked, I'm sure like 70, 100-hour weeks, like just crushing it, like just at that, 24 to 30 years old. It was just, we had a brotherhood, and it was just like, it was go time. So we just worked our butts off, but didn't really get to enjoy, like we were enjoying what we were doing. So it was cool, but it was a whole different step to like be unemployed and then be like, well, I got some time to take off, I guess. And that led me back to San Diego. I was like, all right, well, I had a good summer here. Like, I think I'm going back to the beach. Yeah. I need to live in the sun.
Dude, for sure. I mean, especially like you said, there's beautiful parts there, right? Summers, otherwise you're just it's gray.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Summer, like if you got a good winter and it's just dumping in the mountains, then it's epic. Like it's a great place to live.
It's beautiful, green.
Yeah.
So if you guys are watching, go to Washington for sure in the summer. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, 100%. So that's rad, man. And so how did the sprinter life come about? Like, I know we talked about it, but where did that evolve? Like,
right.
Yeah.
So I've always been stoked on sprinters, like just to be able to go surf or snowboard and have like your unit with you,
Okay, yeah.
And so, I was working with a couple off-road companies.
Okay. You were working for ORW, right?
Yeah, ORW, helping them build their dealer channel basically, where we'd go to dealerships across, the country or like Southern California and build relationships with them, pull trucks, like new trucks from them, build them out, give them back, and then they'd sell them. Yeah. So we'd take like just a stock, GMC, Denali truck or whatever, and throw a 6-inch kit, wheels, tires, all that kind of stuff.
So when you were doing that, were you helping people to like give them the vision of like, hey, this is what we should do to it? Or
the dealership really. Okay. So because literally I'd go to a dealer and say, hey, like we should take those 5 trucks and that Yukon and like let me have them. And so I'll just like load up an auto truck, like a truck will just come like and just stack trucks up and then bring them to the to our shop. And I'd have, the builds already figured out, whether, on the Tahoe, maybe just doing a 4-inch kit, 20s and 35s or, just keeping it pretty like simple, but like beefing it up and making it, a trick. Cause people, there's a lot that can go into that and it's just a lot for people to think about, but it's a great way for dealerships to, make more money on what they're selling. Yeah.
That's funny that you say that because, like I remember, I've always been into trucks, and so I'd go to the dealership, and I always go look at the lifted trucks. I go to the ones that are got the 35s, the 37-inch size. Like, dude, this thing's sick.
Impulse buy.
Yeah, this thing is, so I can see how
that's only $200 more a month, or like you're like, dang man, I want that one.
Yeah, right. You see a stock one, you're like, but you see that lifted one that's tricked out, you're like, all right, how much is the payments? Like, what do we got to do to make this happen?
For sure.
So you were the guy doing,
doing that for the dealers. So. Okay. I had dealerships from basically Paso Robles all the way down out to like Bishop, out to San Diego. Yeah. So a lot of territory.
So that's where you got. That's where the business started upfitting, right?
I started upfitting with them. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I moved. I was back down to San Diego. I did a little stretch in Ventura for a little bit. Yeah. But came back to San Diego, and I basically had a dealership like hit us up at ORW saying, hey, I want to, I'm a Mercedes dealer. I want to just add some wheels and tires on like sprinters. And so, I talked to the guy, went and met him, and we broed out, and we're still good friends now, Yeah. So went in, he gave me like 5 vans right away. He's like, here you go, man. He's like, put wheels and tires on these things. I'm like, okay. He's like, what else can we do? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll find out.
No way. Yeah. So at that time, that's where that evolved.
That's where it happened. Because I've always been into them. Yeah. And so,
And what year was this?
This was 99. No, I'm sorry. 2019. 1819. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So just before COVID. Yeah. Right. A year before COVID.
Okay.
So got in there and just started, just doing a bunch of research on brands and vendors like Illuminous. It's nice that we got some local companies out here. Yeah. Agile Suspension, Agile Off-Road, Illuminous is out here. They make, some of the best products in the industry.
100%. So it's good quality.
American made, like just rad people. So that really just kind of catapulted things because it's like, well, they got bumpers, roof racks, they got all this stuff now. I'm like, heck yeah. Yeah. And so, I started just pitching it to him, like, let's do this van. And then we did like a dope wrap. Like we wrapped the whole outside of the van, like a mural of like Yosemite and Half Dome. Oh, and so, because I've always wanted to do something like that. Yeah. And so I found a good wrap company that I still work with now.
Who is that?
One Day Wraps.
Okay, in Temecula, right?
Yeah, they're dope. Awesome. Brian over there has a rad team, and his design works.
Dude, they're quick, man.
Yeah,
they don't mess around. I've personally haven't had stuff from them, but I've have buddies and they're like, dude, I'll get my idea, and within like a couple hours, I have something drafted. And you're like, dang.
Yeah, his design's sick, dude.
Yeah.
Brian, I mean, there's nobody, like, I've tried other wrap places and stuff, but like nobody can match. Like, his style is just epic.
Yeah.
So he does all my stuff now and all my customers' work.
That's so
But yeah, we did a sick mural of Yosemite and like Half Dome, and then on the back it was like the face of Half Dome, and we even had like the windows perforated, so like from inside you can see out.
Yeah.
But outside you can't see in. It just looks like the mural.
Okay.
You know, so you're not obstructed inside of the vehicle.
Dude, that's rad.
Yeah. So I gotta,
you gotta send me that. I want to see it.
Yeah, well, for sure.
That's cool. So the crazy part for listeners, right? So because people might not know what a Sprinter van, or you might see a Sprinter van, but you don't know what goes into them, right? And so the cool part, what I've learned, so kind of the story I want to give people perspective here is, Garrett pulls up. I meet him at the beach. Pulls up in a tricked out van, and from the outside in, or from the outside, it has the roof rack. It has the tires, the rims, just sick. It's nice, and it's like. But then when you open the doors, that's when I was like, "What is this?" Like I had never seen anything like it.
Yeah, gray wash bamboo walls, like cabinets and stuff. And
I'm not just gassing my guy up, but this is the truth. Like I have ever since then, I have talk to different companies, and my guy does some of the sickest work inside a van. Like this stuff is beautiful. It's like high end, and like naturally I love expensive stuff, and so I'm gravitated towards nice, beautiful luxury things, and so I'm like, this thing is dope. It's super cool. So you started these vans, and you were just you were doing the simple tires and rims.
Yeah, tires, rims, and then it led to like roof racks and like bumpers and like cool lights and suspension, and just kind of kept going down the rabbit hole.
Just the outside of it, and then when did the inside evolve?
Yeah, so one of my dealer relationships, she connected me with a gentleman, and was like, you got to meet this guy. Like he does interiors and all this stuff, and he ended up, I mean, he's like my dad, never had, and so we just started kind of doing some projects together, trying things out, because I was like, the interiors, I didn't really know much about it.
Yeah.
And, but I've always been interested, and so we did a couple cool ones, like some sportsmobile top, like pop tops and stuff. And did those, and they went well. And then we did a few other ones, and it was just like epic. Like it was, just cool accents, and kind of working together with him, because him and his team they've been building vans for almost 30 years. Okay. And they created and developed another company that ended up selling, and they parted ways, but now they operate as Rove vans, ROAV vans out of Huntington Beach, and they basically white label all my interiors for everything.
Wow.
Like they're awesome. Like the quality, just working with them, we have an awesome like family.
Okay. Yeah.
They've been in the industry for a long time, so their work is awesome. But it's been great to be kind of a younger, fresh set of eyes and mind, and kind of like design wise to like say, hey, like let's try this. Like you guys are so used to building vans a certain way. Yeah. Like let's add a little more flair and a little bit more of the stuff that people want, and it's worked out really well. It's like I can work with clients to figure out like what their life is like and what they're trying to do with these vans, and how to just basically make it dope, and then work with my guys to like execute. So the end product, and they're not, him, like my guys and I are kind of like, well, like, what about this? Or like, what about that? Like, oh no, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, what about if we did this? Like, oh, that could work, And so it's super cool to just like build the Lego.
Collaboration, just a team effort of coming up with a masterpiece.
Yeah. And I know that, if I can dream it and make it like, if I can dream it and communicate it to them, like I know it will just be dope. Like,
Dang.
So.
And when did the name of your company is?
Agent Upfits.
Yep. Yeah. And so when did that start?
So Agent Upfits started about almost 2 years ago now.
Okay.
So it's it kind of with COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Parted ways with Offered Warehouse because with COVID hitting, the dealership business got really rocked hard.
Yeah.
Sprinter van stuff, like I was deep into that at that point, to where it wasn't really the wheelhouse of Jeeps and trucks.
And that's when it just started taking off, so right? That was like that was the gold rush, or the van rush.
For sure. We were just ahead of that. So man, that just really, I mean, all through COVID, it's just been insane.
Nuts, right?
Yeah, it's been nuts.
And so it's cool, guys. So if you guys, this is why I geek out on this, because, he pulls up on the van, and I pulled up in my motorhome. So I got this big, huge 40-foot motorhome, right? And that's cool and it's great. I have a family, and so that works for what we like to do. But then he pulls up with a van, and not only is this van, you can sleep in it. You have a refrigerator. I mean, you can
sink, microwave.
I mean, you shower. You can do everything I can with this big old 40-footer. Right. And you got this, smaller van. But at the same time, what I liked about your van, I was like, dude, this is a great daily. Like, you could take the kids to soccer practice. For sure. You could take the kids to the track. You could throw dirt bikes in there. Like, there's so much more that you can do. Where my motorhome, I'm stuck. Yeah. Like, if I go to Yosemite, like, I just can't go and I'm gonna go real quick to the grocery store.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I just set everything up. Like, it's a pain in the butt.
For sure.
And so that's why this sprinter van thing, I was like, dude, these things are rad.
Yeah.
And so there's the convenience, right? The convenience and simplicity to some degree that you can just pack up and go.
Yeah, totally.
So
it takes 5 seconds. I mean, you roll up and it's like open the back doors, maybe draw out the awning and pull the cooler out. I mean, music's already playing. Like, you're good.
Dude.
Kids are off,
Yeah.
So it's amazing how, my girl and I mean, we go and do sunsets all the time at the beach. We'll just rip past, Fish 101 and grab, a poke bowl or something and just, back up to Pono and just open up, kick it for a few hours, watch sunset, maybe go on the roof rack and do some yoga or something. And then sun goes down, and it's load up, gone. There's no, I had kids before sprinters, and so a beach day is just oh man,
oh dude,
you got to get those wagons and stuff, and you're dragging all this stuff, you're hot,
it's miserable, bro.
So it's so cool to just have something that you can just pump in, pump out.
That's so funny that you say that, because I had this other buddy that's he posted on Instagram. He's like, never again am I going to the beach with kids, because he had a picture of him pulling a wagon, and things are falling off, and it's dude, like you said, the van, everything's in there. You don't have to do anything. You just open the door and you're like, cool, we're on the beach.
And if you remember, when I parked next to you, it wasn't that much space. Someone left and I kind of just creeped up with one, and then parallel parked it in front of you, and then pulled it up enough to where I just backed the other one straight in, making a T, So it's dope. You can kind of just even just get into the sand too, having 4-wheel drive. You can, not worry about getting stuck too much, because that's always a stress.
Oh, 100%, right? Especially with a big motorhome.
Yeah, kids and stuff too. Yeah, totally. Oh man.
So these are the really cool thing I feel is for the people that don't know, is you can build these things out, right? So there's different sizes. There's a 144 and there's a 170.
And extended, 170 extended also.
170 extended. So there's different sizes to these vans. Yeah. And there's the cargo, the passenger, and then what's the other one?
Crew.
And a crew, right? So explain them to the listeners.
So the passenger van obviously is going to come fully insulated and finished.
Yep.
With air conditioning, windows, all the seats, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So it's already got the seats installed. It's basically the
it's
ultimate
just the family wagon
soccer vehicle, right?
So a lot of times we'll end up taking out, 1 or 2 rows of the seats, because it's people don't really need 15 people in their car.
Yeah.
Some people do, but taking out 1 or 2 of the rows of the seats, and then adding a whole little kind of component back there, a bed, sink, kind of what we'll be doing for yours.
Yeah, and then building them out. So that's the passenger.
And then a crew van is basically, actually we'll go to cargo. So cargo van is just the straight up utility, plumber van.
Yeah.
Right? There's no windows, no nothing. It's just stripped metal inside.
Yeah.
Other than the cab with the seats. Yeah. And so that's the best chassis really to start with, because it's an open template. We can do whatever. We can add whatever windows you want. You're not paying for stuff that you're not going to be using or ripping out, like a headliner or a factory floor or stuff like that. And then the crew van is basically like that van, but it has windows and another row of seats usually. So it's basically a utility van, like a cargo van, but it's set up to where you can have a couple of employees in the rig in the back seat. It's also a good one to start with, but you do get the factory windows on those, which don't open up or anything.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we'll end up taking those windows out and then putting in T-vent windows or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So and that's good. So there's 3 different types of vans. So you have to figure out first what van you want to start with, and then but as you mentioned, definitely the cargo van or the what's the other one?
The crew.
The crew are the way to go. Once you have those vans, then that's where the fun comes. That's where you can start building them out.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really appreciate about Garrett is what's your lifestyle, right? If you're just going to the park, you probably don't need a whole lot, right? If you're going to be doing camping in there, if you're going to be using this vehicle as a daily, but you're also going to be going camping, then you can do a lot more. So it's just figuring out your lifestyle. There's also like moto vans where people are like, hey, I'm just going to go to the track and that's it. So figuring out what your lifestyle is and then tailoring it towards that.
For sure.
Which is cool because it's almost like a house, like figuring out how you want to build it.
And how can you get the most use out of it? Yeah. Right? Because that's what a lot of people, I mean, they do them for their business. You know, we'll situate it to where they can use it for work, but then it's also like the family cruiser on the weekends. And so just kind of making a hybrid. And then obviously, I mean, you know, you wrap those things and it's a dope billboard for you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're fun. It's just all about, it's really all about just making them in a way that allows you to use it as much as possible. Because nothing worse than staring at something in your driveway wishing you were in it, you know?
Yeah.
So you just kind of like daydream. You're like, man, like I can't wait for 3 months from now. We'll go for a week-long trip. You know, where, you know the pain.
Yeah, I know. He's talking to me. I get it. No, but it's true, right? Like if you get a motorhome, that's great. But it's like, unless, you know, how often are you going to use a motorhome, right? Like you said, you're going to use it maybe like every 3 months. Unless you're retired, you know, you're not pulling out a 40-foot motorhome.
Right. To go to the beach that often. To go to the beach,
yeah. You know, but the Sprinter van, you're like, cool, I'm going to take it to the beach, pull in, pull out. Like,
you can shoot off the
super
hip.
Super easy. Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
I think I was mentioning before we started, like, you know, we got a handful of vehicles, and out of all the vehicles, like, I love driving the Sprinter van.
Right, totally.
Like, right now, my stage of life, like, we have 3 kids. I'm literally like, dude, I feel like it's NASCAR. I'm like, doof, belt,
right?
belt. Like, we're going, you know, like, dude, we're gone. Before I had a Yukon, it was like crawling in the back of the Yukon, like crawling. It was horrible.
Yeah, for sure. How's your wife like driving it?
Dude, she loves it. So she's used to driving a big truck, and so she's like, "Hey, this is a pretty." She likes also the height of it and the security. Too, yeah, right? So she likes that. Like, hey, like I feel safe in this vehicle. Yeah. You know, and people are like her because she's super girly, but she's also like not. And people are like, "You drive that
boy
van?"
Mom, dude.
Yeah, boy mom. She's like, "Dude, heck yeah, this van's rad."
Yeah.
You know,
right? Well, that and they turn amazing. The turning radius. Because my truck can't turn. I mean, I'm doing like Mr. Bean stuff everywhere. Trying to make a U-ey. Yeah, trying to make a U-ey. I'm like, oh, man.
Dude.
But in the Sprinter, it's just tight.
Super easy. The turning radius on the Sprinter van is
helps
legit.
For like the kid pickup days at school.
Yeah.
Can't make the left.
Surprisingly. There's only one negative thing, that we can't go through Chick-fil-A. Like, that's the only thing.
Drive-thrus are gone.
Yeah, like, be honest. If there's one negative thing, can't go through Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
There's other plus you shouldn't be eating drive-through food anyways.
Yeah,
I'm just being honest, right?
I agree. So totally.
But that's the only thing. Otherwise, I think there's a lot more pros. There's only one con: drive-through food.
Yeah, for sure. It's the Starbucks and stuff. You know? It's like
it's tough when you have kids. You know, like you can't just leave the van running. I'm gonna go inside. Yeah, that's the only thing. Otherwise, everything else is pretty easy. You can always use the drive up app anyways, which we do a lot. So, but that's cool, man. So, what else would you want to tell listeners that are thinking about, like, hey, I want to buy a motorhome, or I want to buy a van, like they don't know where to start? Obviously, contact you first. But what else could they start doing to, like?
I mean, really figuring out like what are they wanting to do with the vehicle? Yeah, right? Like that's the biggest thing. Like, what are your guys' hobbies? Mm-hmm. You know, what do your kids do? Do they play sports? Are you spending 6 months a year at parks on the weekends because your kids are in baseball tournaments for the whole time? Like, what do you how can we build something that's going to cater to you guys to make it as easy and cool as possible? So, totally. But that's the biggest thing. Like, what do you want to do with it? That's the first step. Like your house, right? What do you want to do with this house? You want to rent it? You want to friggin', remodel? You want a brand new construction? Like, how long you want to live in it? Like, there's a lot of thought that should go into it. Yeah. But then once they figure out having a vehicle, even like for you, it's nice to be able to get a vehicle, use it a little bit, and then kind of see what you really need. Like, do you need this or do you need that? Do you need an inside bathroom? Like, or can you just use a cassette and like an outdoor shower? Like, there's so many different things that, people go into starting the van, purchase process, and they have all these ideas that they want, and they don't realize like how much that stuff actually costs. Right? Yeah. But then also, you're really working on a tight space, and you want to have flow. And I'm not a big fan of the vans that are all compartmentalized and just like you don't want to. I want to be able to sit and kick it in my vans. Yeah. Right? Like with the kids hanging out and doing whatever. Some adults, like in most of our designs, we can fit, 8 adults can sit there and chill out and hang out and not be crowded and like stuffed up in a 144. Yeah. Because you like this week, I'm at Cardiff all week right now, and it's hot outside. Yeah. And so it's nice to be able to just chill in there with a good breeze, get the fan on, ripping around, and can work on the laptop from inside. Yeah. whatever. So it's cool to have a setup to where you can hang out in it and enjoy it and not just kind of like sleep and cook in there.
There you go. You go. That's true. Yeah. So check out his Instagram page because you're right. So there's some that just try to cram almost too much in there.
Right.
And it's like, there's also something beautiful about having simplicity of like less is more. Yeah. You still have the beds. You can turn those into like seats. Right. Or, you know what I mean? Like you have everything that you need, but you're also not like fighting.
Not trying to live out of it.
Yeah. And you're also not like,
yeah,
like,
totally.
Oh, I can't even get into.
Yeah. Because really like I feel like, for the builds that we do, and we do obviously everything, but it's really like it's almost competing with like an SUV, right? Where the new Escalades, like they're beautiful, great cars, but you still like they come with a healthy price tag, and you're still limited on space and like functionality. Like sure, you can put your luggage in the back, but like, is there a sink in there? Is there a bathroom? Is there a fridge? Is there a microwave? Like, can you cook food for your kids? Can you drop your kids off at school and then not have to go home and be able to like do how much more could you get done in your day as a soccer mom or a stay-at-home parent without having to go home every time you need to get something? If you have everything in the vehicle with you, how much more efficient can your day be? Like if you have your office, if you have an Etsy side hustle or something, like could you just go somewhere and knock out some work stuff from your vehicle and then go back and pick the kids up or then go back to soccer practice? Or how much more efficient can having a vehicle like this be for your life?
100%.
And people don't think about that. Everyone thinks about sprinters and they're like, oh, dude, these are for hippies that just want to go live in the woods by themselves. It's like, no, it's like a dope like rig for a convenient lifestyle that's just awesome.
Dude, you nailed it right there, because I know we go to the skate park sometimes and like bikes are already loaded in the back. Yeah. We go to the grocery store, like we got strollers, like, and we still have leftover room where if you have a Yukon or if you have an Escalade, like, you're fighting for space. Yeah, you're fighting for space. Like it happened so many times where we would open the back door and like the strollers are falling off, like food, and you're like, oh, dude, I hate this car, and like now it's like we have groceries, have everything, and it's like we're
organized, chilling. Yeah. It just allows you to have a more spontaneous life. Yeah, because you can kind of just always be like ready-ish. Yeah. It's like, I'll swing through the store and grab some pre-made stuff and be able to eat and have snacks or whatever. But it's
you nailed it right there. So yeah, guys, I mean, if you guys want to know more about the Sprinter life, obviously we want to keep it short so you guys can contact my guy Garrett here, like ask him, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I've been picking his brain. He probably hates me because I literally pick his brain like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And he's like, no, like we're going to do it. Let's do this right. But he's just a wealth of knowledge, and there's so much to learn. So if you're anything like me, I'm going to geek out on hours on YouTube and Instagram, look at all these different things. And it's great that now I've been able to figure out the build I want to do, and then now we're actually going to build it, which I'm super excited to do here in the next couple months. So reach out to Garrett. What's your Instagram handle?
It's agent_upfits, UPFITS.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So follow him there on social media. Anywhere else?
Upfits.com. Website, upfits.com.
That's his website. Yeah. This is literally your one-stop shop, guys. If you guys need help finding the van, he will help you buy the van, and then he'll from there help you build it all out. And what I mean, he's not going to help you buy it. He'll help you find it. You buy it, right? Yeah. But he also does in-house financing with the van and the cost, which is great. It's like really literally your one-stop shop.
Totally. We can do like commercial and stuff like that. So we do a bunch of different types of projects for businesses and stuff, and we've done like dental vans, all that kind of stuff too. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah, so we're literally like anything that has to do with a van, like we can knock out.
Nice. So hit them up, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Share this with a friend or family member that's thinking about buying a van or building out a van, or even that's contemplating, should I buy a motorhome or a van? Have them listen to this episode. It's amazing. Yeah. And super excited to see who else buys a van after listening to this episode. All right, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, man.